I don't know how red my face was. I use a paper towel.
Your mic is hot.
Good evening, and welcome to our excuse me, regular business meeting, March 10th, 2026. Meeting is now called to order at 6:39 p.m. Ms. Vaughn, roll call.
Dr. Harvey,
Present.
Ms. Foster, Mr. Hikes,
Present.
Ms. Jones, Mr. Marston,
Present.
Ms. Hubbard,
Here.
Dr. Collins Adams.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Our Board of Education norms, Board Member Marston.
St. Louis Board of Education norms adopted April 9th, 2019. Decision making. We believe our first priority and greatest concern is the educational welfare of all students in St. Louis Public Schools. We align decisions, discussions, superintendent evaluations, district partnerships, budget allocations, etc., to the current transformation plan. We demonstrate respect for diversity of thoughts, backgrounds, and experiences, roles, and decisions once they have been made. We embrace healthy debate. We acknowledge board members with differing opinions during discourse in both open and closed sessions to gain clarity and engage in meaningful dialogues. Professionalism. We demonstrate engagement by thoroughly reviewing the board packet and other documents, arriving on time to meetings and work sessions, remaining on topic during discussions, and respectfully interacting with each other, the superintendent, staff, and all stakeholders. We demonstrate respect for diversity of thoughts, backgrounds, and experiences and roles. Communication. We demonstrate professionalism and respect for other board members, the superintendent, and district staff by adhering to timelines and deadlines outlined in the workflow calendar and any other tasks as assigned. We conduct all official board-related email communications using our @slps.org email accounts. We read and reply to all board emails within 72 hours. We conduct all official board-related phone and text communications using district-issued phones. We check voicemail and return phone calls and texts within 72 hours. We are ambassadors in the community, and as individual concerns or questions arise, we will seek to understand the information and gather pertinent facts in order to direct stakeholder or staff to contact appropriate district personnel. We channel concerns or requests for information through the board president, who will direct those requests to the superintendent in an organized, concise manner. We recognize the importance of proactive communications and agree there will be no surprises. The board president shall be the official spokesperson for the board. The superintendent shall be the spokesperson for the district. Board members who receive requests for board issue positions shall direct the request to the board president or superintendent. And finally, confidentiality. We respect and maintain the confidentiality of closed session items and the board's discussion on those items. We refrain from discussing confidential business in public with members of the press or with anyone else not privy to such information. If it is necessary to make a statement to the public following a closed session, the board president and superintendent will agree on a unified response prior to making the statement. I move to approve the agenda for this evening's regular business meeting.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call.
Dr. Harvey,
Yes.
Mr. Hikes.
Yes.
Ms. Jones, Mr. Marston,
Yes.
Ms. Hubbard?
Yes.
Dr. Collins Adams?
Yes.
Motion approved.
Approval of the minutes.
I move to approve the minutes from our December 16th, 2025 board retreat.
Second.
Dr. Harvey?
Abstain.
Mr. Hikes?
Yes.
Ms. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Marston?
Yes.
Ms. Hubbard?
Yes.
Dr. Collins Adams?
Yes.
Motion approved.
And I move to approve the minutes from our February 24th work session.
Second.
Call for vote.
Dr. Harvey?
Yes.
Mr. Hikes?
Yes.
Ms. Jones?
Abstain.
Mr. Marston?
Yes.
Ms. Hubbard?
Yes.
Dr. Collins Adams?
Yes.
Motion approved.
Section 4 of our agenda. The Spirit of Excellence. Dr. Berry.
Yes. Good evening. This has been a busy but extremely exciting and productive few weeks for the students and staff at SLPS. As we are gearing up for spring break next week, we would like to celebrate and provide a few highlights from the last 2 weeks. I do apologize in advance as the Spirit of Excellence is a little bit longer than usual. Congratulations to 4 students from Metro for being finalists in the National Merit Scholarship Program, which is a prestigious academic competition where each year more than 1.5 million high school juniors enter from that group. About 16,000 nationwide are named for semifinalists, representing the highest scoring participants in each state. Approximately 15,000 students ultimately go on to be finalists. The 4 finalists are now eligible to compete for National Merit Scholarships, which will be announced this spring. SLPS congratulates these students and their families for the milestones and wishes them a continued success as they move forward in the National Merit Scholarship competition. Congratulations to Sumner High School chess team. They won the SLPS District High School Chess Tournament for the 3rd year in the row. Yes, earning an incredible 3-peat championship. This accomplishment reflects the hard work, focus, and strategic thinking demonstrated throughout the tournament. We are extremely proud of our Sumner chess scholars. Along with this, Sumner's Museum Studies program did an outstanding job last Saturday at the National History Day St. Louis Regional Competition, competing against schools from all over the city. 12 of their 14 projects submitted advanced to the final round, with 9 of those 12 projects finishing in the top 3. Absolutely. For the state competition in April. In total, 14 students qualified for state, and their instructor, Mac Williams, also winning National History Day Teacher of the Year for the region. Yes. Let's go Bulldogs. Congratulations to our winners for the SLPS Academic Bowl. In the middle school category, first place went to McKinley, second place went to Compton Drew, and third place went to Carlane. But just so you know, there was a 3-way tie at the end of the first round. For our high schoolers, a tiebreaker had to determine the second and third place. First place was McKinley, second place Sodan, and third place was Sumner High School. Yes. The Worldwide Technology STEM Student Forum is dedicated to educating high school students on the importance of STEM disciplines and opportunities they present, while also creating positive change in the St. Louis metropolitan area. STEM Student Forum invites high school teams to create solutions for their school's unique needs. The top 5 teams are invited to present their project in person at the Worldwide Global Headquarters. Congratulations to the students from Clyde C. Miller on their fourth place, and advancing to the finalists to present. Students from the JAG program at Roosevelt, Sumner, and Vashon completed in the annual Career Fair Conference in Jefferson City. Students competed in a wide variety of workforce leadership categories. Competitions were judged by districts around the state, and I also was able to attend. Students highlighted love projects and created ways of making their communities better by helping and serving others. Thank you to our Jobs for America graduates and their coaches. Last Saturday, there was also a career fair centered around support staff. We extended 51 offers. Several candidates were also provided counseling and next steps to join our pathways. There are several bilingual candidates, and thank you to the wonderful school leaders and their teams that attended the job fair, and to our Human Resource Department for making this happen. The ladies of Sigma Gamma Rho sorority, the Alpha Upsilon chapter, will be hosting their youth symposium for high school juniors and seniors this Saturday, March 14th, at the Mason Clark Middle School, which is in East St. Louis, from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m., where they are providing college prep, STEM classes, giveaways, breakfast, lunch, haircuts, manicures, along with school supplies. You'll be able to find more information on our social media pages. All you need to bring, students, is your high school ID. Thank you to our families at Hickey, Mason, Nance, Adams for attending our virtual sessions regarding 6th grade rising. We appreciate your thoughtful questions. Information was shared, and our team stands ready to assist our families from start to finish through this process. Our middle schools still have availability, and many of our families have already made selections for next year. Thank you to the school leaders and their leadership team for making this process seamless and possible. 2 more. Thank you to the staff at NCNAA for working collaboratively with each other to develop strategies and suggestions for district leadership regarding potential operational plans for next year. We are facing the hard truth that confirms at this moment that we have 0 enrollments for the 26-27 school year. We are looking forward to considering thoughtful solutions we can develop together to address this urgent matter. And finally, a huge shout out to the Vashon boys basketball team as they have clinched the championship District 6A, beating Lutheran North 75-59. Let's cheer them on as they are taking on in this very moment Live for Life. And just in case you were wondering, the current score is 33-30 Vashon. You can join the action by watching the live stream on the Missouri State High School Athletics Association website. And good luck, Vashon and V. Let's get ready to roll. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Dr. Berry. The superintendent report, Dr. Berry. Do you have any?
No, ma'am, we do not have any this evening.
Thank you. I shouldn't be so happy. No. We'll move now to our public comment section.
Good evening to our board president, Dr. Karen Collins Adams, to Vice President Emily Hubbard, to our wonderful board members, and to our interim superintendent, Dr. Myra Berry. Here are our updated rules for public comment. Out of respect for our board members and their mission to conduct district business by maintaining order and rules of decorum, we will continue to enforce guidelines for public comment. They are as follows. Citizens interested in commenting will sign in on the iPad between 6 and 6:30 before the board meeting. Do not hand documents directly to board members. Give them to the secretary at the far left of the die. Commenters may take an available seat in the room, up to 20. Public comments will occur at the time designated by the board in the agenda published ahead of each board meeting. Information can be submitted to the board in writing. Each commenter will have up to 3 minutes to address the board. No speaker shall engage in any illegal or criminal activity. No speaker shall use obscene language. No speaker shall engage in conduct which poses a true threat or disruption. There will be time allotted for all comments in accordance with board policy. If you were not called to speak, you might submit your information in writing or return to the next scheduled meeting with a priority number. Finally, if the allotted comment period is inadequate for the number of registered commenters, the board may, in its discretion, extend the commenting period or may require that an organization or group with multiple individuals desiring to speak on the same topic identify an individual to present the comments on behalf of the group or organization. The board may also, in its discretion, limit the number of individuals speaking on the same topic on a first-come, first-served basis. based on the order in which individuals signed up to speak on that topic. If any such requirement is imposed, it must be applied uniformly to all individuals and groups commenting. Now that we have the order set, first we will have William Bill Monroe. Harriet Tubman.
Thank you. Is it on?
Yes, sir.
The red is on?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you. I'm Bill Monroe, and I wanted to be first from the community to welcome Dr. Robert Harvey. Welcome to the St. Louis Public Schools, the Board of Education. And we hope your time spent here is productive. And being productive, I want to caution this city about the horrible homeless situation here in the city of St. Louis, where young black boys and black girls are homeless in this city. And I'm sure there's some white ones too, but it's the black ones that get talked about downtown and places where they want to be incarcerated. But we have an opportunity, we have a golden opportunity here. We have some buildings here that we can utilize and repurpose for homeless shelters / dormitories / educational centers for our homeless children. And we have as many as, I'm told, 5,000 or 6,000 homeless children in our city. And if we're not proactive in our assessment of our government and the way we see what's happening with this federal government, we have to do something. And I look in this audience, and I'm really upset for the lack of black men. I don't see black men in this audience. And that only upsets me, it angers me, it saddens me. And I want to say in this community, please, brothers, come out and support this Board of Education for the city of St. Louis, and let's help Dr. Maya Berry make this a success. And thank you. And once again, Brother Harvey, welcome to St. Louis. Thank you.
We will now have John Regenbotham, St. Louis Public Schools, PAC.
Good evening. Good evening, Dr. Collins Adams, Superintendent Berry, and members of the board. My name is John Regenbogen. I'm a parent of 2 SLPSers, and I co-chair the SLPS Parent Action Council's Housing and Incentives Committee. The reason why we wanted to make a comment tonight is that 2 major pieces of legislation have popped up in the Missouri House. There's also some Senate versions of these bills that would provide state incentives for downtown development, and that could be very good. However, they also would severely constrain and limit and divert property taxes, including, of course, SLPS's property taxes. There's 2 bills, HB 3395 and HB 3231. I provided a handout that kind of goes over the basic summary of them, and as well as some possible amendments that would be ideal to vastly improve them and better protect SLPS revenues. I was going through the Board of Education's 2026 adopted legislative agenda, and there's 2 things there that specifically, clash with these bills, that clash with that agenda. And the agenda is to support fair and equitable development. Currently, these bills are not that, and to allow for SLPS to opt out of unfair incentives. And currently, these bills do not allow that. And collectively, they would place an even greater burden on our school children by reducing real and personal property taxes, diverting revenues normally due to SLPS to new public safety and even rural development funds, diverting revenue out of the city and out of SLPS to other rural cities. It's very concerning. And also would increase the length of time before SLPS would see any benefits from state TIF programs. What's at stake? It's millions of dollars on an annual basis. And over 10, 20 years, tens of millions of dollars in SLPS revenue would be impacted if these bills pass. From the latest ACFR from 2024, already $39 million has been diverted. And in the ensuing years, that number would explode if the bills pass. I'd also like to mention that previously the Board of Education unanimously opposed a 20-year, 90% tax abatement for the Millennium Hotel. This would be even worse than that because it would come back as a state TIF.
We now have sixth grade parent Relis Parks.
Good evening, members of the board. I'm a parent of a third and fifth grader at Mason Elementary. My fifth grader has been looking forward to completing her last year as a sixth grader at Mason with her peers and her teachers and the staff. 3 weeks ago, families were informed that sixth grade will no longer remain at Mason starting next school year. Yet the voice of the families were not heard or included in this decision in a meaningful way. This sudden announcement left families with the rest of the school year to evaluate and select a new school for our rising sixth graders. The magnet school application has been open since last fall, meaning families have already missed the window to visit and attend open houses and make informed decisions when it comes to our students. One of the strengths of SLPS is school choice, but when families' voices are not considered, it often breaks trust and contributes to driving families out of the district. SLPS desires for families to reimagine the district, but this is a real-life example or case that can create some distrust with a district that is already struggling and challenged with retaining students that transition from elementary to middle and from middle to high school. A change of this magnitude should have been decided and communicated in advance with a phased rollout approach to give families time to plan responsibly. My requests are the following. Number one, that future decisions of this scale be made in partnership with families through committees, surveys, and open feedback channels. Number two, that the district reconsider to transition sixth grade be effective instead next school year, 2027-2028, to give families more time to evaluate our middle school options. And number three, that the district develop policy requiring family input for district-wide decisions, especially in a predominantly Title I district where partnership is essential to equitable outcomes. Your child's final year at elementary school has a lot of last performances, last celebrations, traditions. With a few grading periods left in the school year, that's not really the time for a student to learn that this is their final year at elementary school. Thank you for your time and for your commitment to doing what is right for our students.
Ashley McCain.
Good evening, members of the board. My name is Ashley McCain, and I'm a proud parent of 2 children at Mason Elementary School. My family moved here from Oklahoma in 24, and for the last year and a half, we've entrusted SLPS with our children's education. Tonight, I'm asking for fairness, transparency, and an equal pathway for students to attend McKinley Middle School, a school designed for gifted learners. My daughter is academically strong and well-rounded fifth grade student. She excels in her classes, performs at high level on the STAR assessment, displays excellent behavior record, and a diverse extracurricular involvement within Mason. She was even recommended by her teachers to be gifted tested at the parent-teacher conferences. However, she did not meet the gifted identification requirements that for many families are unclear and confusing. These assessments create barriers that disproportionately limit access and leave many families, especially those new to the district, feeling defeated and segregated. Why do things work so well within the current inclusion and diversity of gifted and non-gifted kids at Mason? Shouldn't we allow those same kids to continue to grow at the same middle school together? It's proven to be working wonderfully well now at Mason. Being new to the St. Louis area, we have been precautioned and seen firsthand that the schooling situation is complicated, but it doesn't have to be. Since being here, we have been educated of the history and education system, which would include patterns of segregation, redlining, and declining investments that have shaped educational outcomes across the city. These structural factors have long influenced who is identified as gifted and who receives access to high-gifted programs. Tonight, my request is simple and urgent. I am asking the board to create an exception pathway for the fifth grade students affected by the sixth grade sunset. This pathway could include probationary enrichment placement with criteria on academic performance, character, behavior, and principal-teacher recommendation. I feel this is fair considering the time frame in which we were given the news of the sixth grade dropping at Mason and the lack of time there is to prepare our next steps. We have missed open houses, most charter and private school enrollment opportunities, and I now find myself pulling my daughter out from her regular structured academic schedule to tour and gather options for next year. This probationary enrichment placement would be also a helpmate to those fifth graders that have come to the abrupt news and the ease of following their already established peer groups through the next year at McKinley. This would also provide a simpler transition and less academic interruption. In addition, this would also give us adequate time to continue to gifted test while causing the least disruption and properly plan ahead for 27 and 28. At this current state, McKinley is not full, so this seems like a fair consideration. Families should not be penalized for a structural change they did not create, and students who demonstrate excellence should have a fair chance at McKinley. So I believe a probationary enrichment placement is a fair consideration for those like my daughter who's prepared and proved herself at Mason. Lastly, I'm encouraged from my personal prayer and scripture time this morning that a place of disappointment can be a place of blessing. This would be a blessing to be considered in such a time of disappointment. Thank you for your time, and I trust you will do the right thing for our scholars.
Alana Parks.
Good evening. My name is Alana Parks. I'm a parent in the district and a family engagement practitioner. I'm here tonight because I believe family engagement is the missing link in SLPS, turning the corner towards stronger academic outcomes, relationships, and a stronger district culture. National research is clear. Family engagement is one of the most powerful drivers of student success, regardless of family's income, race, or background. Districts that embed authentic partnerships with families see improvements in attendance, behavior, literacy, and overall achievement. This is especially critical in SLPS, where a large percentage of our students are economically disadvantaged. Our families could strongly benefit from true partnership. We know that there is deep generational distrust between the district and the communities it serves, and that this distrust did not happen overnight. We know the city's long history of segregation, disinvestment, and structural inequity, a history that continues today. Our families feel this, and it shapes how they experience the district. Family engagement plus quality instruction is how you rebuild that trust and positively impact academic outcomes. I train districts across the country with using the Family School Dual Capacity Building Framework by Dr. Karen Mapp, a nationally recognized model that SLPS needs to adapt district-wide. This framework emphasizes building relational trust between families and educators, ensuring family engagement is directly linked to student learning, and strengthening the capacity of both the educators and the families to partner effectively. These principles make it clear that family engagement is not the responsibility of one office or one event. It is a shared responsibility of every adult in the system, because true partnership only happens when trust, academic connection, and mutual capacity building are woven into everyday practice. When family engagement becomes essential, it is no longer just an event, a program, or a checklist. It is a culture. It is how bus drivers greet students, how teachers honor the lived experiences of their families, and how district leaders partner with communities before decisions are made, not after. SLPS cannot continue to treat families as optional or isolated or an afterthought. Family engagement must be essential to how this district operates. As a parent and a professional, I'm asking you to partner with families and make family engagement a district-wide priority, not just because the research supports it, but it's what our families and our students deserve. Thank you.
Melissa Barnes.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Melissa Barnes, and I'm a parent and a parent advocate here in St. Louis. As a parent advocate, I support Missouri creating an A through F accountability system for our schools, because parents deserve clear and honest information about how schools are performing. Transparency matters, and families should be able to understand whether their child's schools is helping students succeed. But if we're going to grade schools, we also have to make sure the system includes the right support so struggling schools actually have a pathway to improve. As a parent, I would like our school board to prioritize increased funding for incentive reading interventions and personalized tutoring. Effective literacy support is needed in every school, regardless of the grade the school receives. This is a fundamental equality issue. Literacy is the foundation of all education. With children struggling to read, they often struggle in every subject. Oftentimes, that could lead to frustration, bullying, loss of confidence, and long-term academic challenges. Waiting for children to figure things out on their own is not a strategy. It only pushes them further behind. Many students are still dealing with learning gaps from the pandemic, which is why early and targeted interventions is so important. Reading interventions should be used to help schools and students catch up. If a school receives a D or F, it should not be looked down on. Those schools should be top priority for support and funding, so they have the tools they need to improve and help students succeed. We need funding for specialized evidence-based programs like structured literacy, along with trained reading specialists and tutors who can provide personalized small group instructions. I know for a fact that many schools once had this program in place, but many have reduced it or it has been removed altogether. Teachers are working incredibly hard, but regular classroom instructions alone cannot always provide the incentive focus that struggling readers need. Some students require additional one-on-one help or small group tutoring, sometimes before and after school. Investing in reading intervention now saves resources later in early intervention regarding the need for costly services in upper grades, and helps keep students on track for high school graduation. Tutoring resources include before and after school programs, helps bridge the gap between classroom instructions and home support. And in some families, parents want to help their children but struggle with reading themselves. That means sometimes we need to start by helping the parents so that they can help their children. Supporting families strengthens the partnership between parents and educators. If our district prioritizes funding for extracurricular or advanced classes, we must equally prioritize foundational literacy for struggling readers. Every student deserves the tools to succeed, not just the ones whose families can afford private tutoring. This is why I encourage parents to partner with
Marnette Rux.
Good evening, members of the board. My name is Morgan Rooks, and I am a parent confident coach, and I'm a parent who lives in the district. Like many families, I care deeply about the success of St. Louis Public Schools and the future of our students. First, I want to acknowledge that SLPS is doing several things well. The district has made real progress in prioritizing literacy, aligning instructions with evidence-based reading practices, and being transparent about student data. We are seeing stronger conversations about reading, grade level expectations, and what it truly means for a child to be prepared academically. That matter works as a parent, and I appreciate the commitment in improving outcomes for our students. At the same time, many parents in our community still struggle to understand their child's academic information. Families receive report cards, testing data, and school updates, but often those numbers and scores are confusing. Parents want to help their child succeed, but they don't always know what the data means or what steps they should to take at home. This is where initiatives like Know Your Level that can support the district work. Know Your Level is about helping families clearly understand three things: where your child is academically, what grade level expectations actually mean, what parents can do to support improvement. When parents understand their child's reading level, test scores, growth goals, they become stronger partners in the learning process. Instead of feeling disconnected from academic data, families can ask the right questions, support reading at home, and work alongside teachers to move students forward. SLPS already has strong educators and systems in place. By strengthening the family literacy awareness and data understanding, we can make sure the progress happening in classrooms also continues at home. When parents know their child's level, they are more confident in supporting learning. And when families and schools work together with their clear information, students' outcomes improve. As a parent in this district, my hope is that we continue building bridges between schools and families so every parent feels equipped to help their child succeed. Thank you for your time and service to the students and the family of St. Louis.
Crystal Barnett.
Hello, y'all. How y'all doing tonight? All right, for people who don't know me, I'm Crystal Barnett. I am the founder of Bridge to Hope Parent Institute, and I would like to talk to you all about the A through F grading system that just passed in Missouri. So I'll read this. Missouri has passed new laws that significantly impact our schools, an A through F grading accountability system, stronger expectations around early literacy, and growing conversations around third grade reading and retention. At the same time, St. Louis Public Schools is working to strengthen their accreditation status. The policy changes will shape how schools are evaluated, but they will also shape how families understand their child's progress, their school's progress, and what supports both sides may need. Because of this truth, the schools cannot carry the weight of all the expectations alone. However, families must be equipped to partner in their work. At Bridge to Hope, we see every day what happens when parents understand their child's reading levels, when they know how to ask the correct questions, and when they feel welcome as partners in the school communities. Engagement rises and solutions become targeted, and children get supported earlier and sooner. But right now, many families are still asking three questions. What does my child's reading data really mean? What happens if they fall behind, especially around retention conversations? And what support is available if retention becomes an issue for them? If we want accountability systems to work, we must be a part of those solutions and not the last person to know or to leave families out until it becomes too late and then they have to make tough decisions. Excuse me. This is why Bridge to Hope continues to stand with families and schools, strengthening families' understanding of reading data, literacy expectations, and the supports available to ensure every child has a pathway to reading success. Our organization trains and supports parents across multiple schools and neighborhoods, and we believe there is a real opportunity to align our work more intentionally with the district to help families better understand the reading expectations, data, available supports, and what those grades in those schools could actually mean for them. We are committed to student success, and just as importantly, we are committed to family success, having the knowledge and support they need to help their children succeed. Our goal is simple: to help ensure every parent understands the data, the intervention pathways, and how to support their children before it becomes a fire. I want to be clear that parents are not looking to assign blame. At this point, we know that blame is pretty much equally shared across all sectors. However, they are looking for clarity, partnership, strong pathways, and clear understanding on how to support their kids beyond just empty promises. And if we work together with district leaders, educators, community organizations, and families, can I finish this?
Velma Bailey.
Good evening, members of the board. I'm very happy to be here this evening, and I would like to share with you some information that will help our students do a better job academically and also in the community as citizens. There's a scripture that says, when the people had a mind to work together, they can rebuild. If you look in the book of Nehemiah, he came from the king's palace and came back to his hometown and helped them build a wall. And he was actually a great inspirer and a role model to his fellow citizens, working with the people that were in his community. I'd like to talk to you about the swimming program, because we're getting to a point now where we're all getting ready to work on providing water safety, learn to swim lessons for children in the St. Louis Public School District. When I interviewed, I told you I'm not new to this, I'm true to this. So we've been here for almost a year, almost every board meeting, talking about this wonderful opportunity that you're going to take advantage of, because you're going to be working with your community and we're going to be working together in alignment. Isn't that great? I also had the opportunity to travel to Jefferson City this week, and I was on the campus of Lincoln University, and also to Columbia, and I was at Mizzou. Do you know that this is the first time in my life I've really stopped to think about, they have housing there. They have housing, student housing. They provide that as a university to the students. So I would like for you to reconsider tearing down and demolishing our buildings and find a way to work with the city of St. Louis for that $6 million to be used to provide housing for the 25% of the children in our district who have self-identified as homeless. Wouldn't that be a novel idea? You would get a lot of credit, and you know what? You'd be servicing the children in our community, and I know that's what you got elected to do. I'd also like to talk to you about putting some resources in those housing development projects that we're going to work on together as a community, because our kids need jobs. They need to be able to work. We talked about at 15, our kids can get a job as a lifeguard. You want to help a poor family? How about infusing that family with $3,000 or $4,000 in one summer? That doesn't even take in after school. But there are lots of activities that people can do as an entrepreneur, and they can earn money, and those opportunities can be in the same building they live in, and they could also be school opportunities, educational opportunities in that same building. They can create little ecosystems, and they'll be more productive. They'll build hope. They'll see the academic skills that they're learning and where they can actually present them.
Chester Asher.
Good evening. As you know, the state is considering legislation that would require every school to get a letter grade, and the actual state of the State Board of Education would also get a letter grade. And so not only as a parent do I support this, I think it's necessary for our city. It doesn't take away any money from schools. It doesn't close any schools. And when we think about letter grades, you know, we give our kids letter grades. And if a kid gets an F or a D, we don't say, we're going to stop giving you grades. We say, hey, what happened? What can we do to improve? What work needs to happen to change this? Because you can't keep getting Fs. You can't keep getting Ds. And honestly, you shouldn't even be getting Cs. It motivates conversation and work. As a school administrator, I used to go into my teachers' classrooms and basically give them grades. And then afterwards, we would sit down and we would celebrate the wins, and sometimes we would say, hey, what can we do to change? Because I can't keep coming in your class and scoring you a 1 on these things. It motivates work and action to change. And so our schools should not be exempt. If a school gets an F or a D or even an A, it requires us to then say, hey, what happened? What are we doing? Can we do something differently? It motivates. It does not necessarily need to demoralize a school, just like grades shouldn't demoralize a child. We don't stop giving kids bad grades because they feel bad. We say, hey, what do you need to do to change that? And that is the same conversation that we should be having as a school district. But hiding behind no grades is not the way. Trying to keep the public in the dark about how our schools are performing is not the way. I know many schools pass on kids who even in our high schools cannot read. Parents have told us that their kids get B's and A's. How is it that you're saying my child can't read? Well, that school grade would let us know when that is happening, and more importantly, would motivate us to actually take action, to ask what's going on, how can we improve, what can we change. So I ask this board to support letter grades because they just support the conversations that are necessary to have, to change and to engage in work that actually gives us the type of educational system we all know we want. Thank you.
Cheryl Frankfurter.
Hi. Good evening, members of the board. I'm so happy to be here. I represent a refugee resettlement group in St. Louis. We're a group of 8 or 9 people, and we've resettled 4 families now, and our last one has 4 kids. So 3 of those are at Nahid Chapman, and 1 is at the middle school AESM. So we were pretty dismayed to learn that the New American School was going to be closing, because we had the opportunity to watch these kids come off the plane and be scared, and then they had this wonderfully safe place to launch themselves at SLPS in Nahid Chapman, and we just watched them thrive. And one of the kids has special needs. He doesn't walk very well, and he was just so loved and supported by the staff there. He was made to feel so welcome. So I'm just representing a group of people who care about refugees and how they affect the community and revitalize in terms of population and economic opportunity. And we would like to give these kids a very safe place to launch themselves as their parents learn English and adjust to a new life. Thank you very much.
This concludes public comment.
Thank you, and I'd like to thank our speakers for their input. You brought some valuable information to us, and we will consider those things that you brought to us. Thank you so much. We move now in our agenda to Section 7, our consent agenda. The items on our consent agenda, items 7.1 through 7.18, were discussed at our work session and were voted on in its entirety.
I move to approve items 7.1 through 7.18 on the consent agenda.
Second.
Discussion? Ms. Vaughn, call for a vote.
Dr. Harvey?
Yes.
Mr. Hikes?
Yes.
Ms. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Marston?
Yes.
Ms. Hubbard?
Yes.
Dr. Collins Adams?
Yes.
Motion approved.
Section 8 of our agenda, items for discussion. These items will be presented for discussion. St. Louis Public School Policy 1670, visitors to district property and events. 8.2, St. Louis Policy 1660, visitors to district policy and, property and events. 8.3, Policy B 9352, meeting agendas. Section 8.4, Policy B 9358.3, public participation. Each of the policies that I mentioned have a red line item and a final document. Discussion?
And a question/comment about 8.3, which is the meeting agenda. And the only change to it is adding a sentence that says that the order of business for a public meeting may be changed upon the recommendation of the president of the board and the concurrence by a majority of the members present at the meeting. I think the agenda can be reordered by a motion from any board member.
Right. Thank you, Mr. Marston. Yes. Any additional discussions or any of the other items in Section 8?
I think the new versions provide a lot more clarity and specificity, and I'm really glad to see them.
That they provide more clarity. You want to repeat that? Provide
Sorry.
more clarity.
More clarity and specificity, and I'm glad to see them.
Additional discussion? We move to Section 9, items for information. Item 9.1, travel explanation of the JAG State Officer Training. Dr. Berry, you want to...
Yes, ma'am. My apologies. I just wanted to bring this forward to the board. We are certainly looking at, we had a student that was going to competition, and as the policies state right now, the student would be by themselves. We did not provide transportation according to our bus company. Could not transport one student. When looking at the cabs, we were unable to get one student also transported to, I'm sorry, it was Springfield. To Springfield, you cannot put a student in your vehicle or if you are a staff member. And so the teacher was trying to get the student there, and the teacher used an Uber because she wanted to make sure the student got there and did not violate board policy. We are certainly looking at what we can do in the future. They talked about a train. The train did not go there. So I want to let you know that we will reimburse the teacher, but I want to be very open in the event we see on a transaction that we paid for an Uber. It was for a student that was going to a JAG competition, and we're reimbursing the teacher that paid the money.
Thank you, Dr. Berry.
Thank you.
Item 10, we don't have any items for action unless there were additional ones that came, and I didn't see any on the agenda. Board reports, sections 11. The audit committee will meet April 6th, governance will meet April 2nd, and the standing committee on budget and transparency, April 29th.
May I give the governance committee report?
Pardon, go ahead.
The governance committee met last week on Thursday. Our new time for this semester is 3:30. We had a great conversation, and we are looking at creating a new subcommittee probably for to look at the bylaws with our new chief counsel and with newer board members to go through and see what
works and what doesn't. And I'm really looking forward to that. And we're also working on updating policies. Glad to see the public comment one come up. And we will continue working to be good policymakers.
Thank you, Board Member Hubbard. Real estate, Mr. Board Member Hikes.
All I have is that we do have a list of schools that are out for sale, and they should be listed on our website.
Yeah, I'll follow up on that a bit. There are 13 properties currently listed for sale, and 4 more should be listed by Friday. If you go to the SLPS website at slps.org and click on departments and then operations and then real estate, you'll link off to those listings.
Any additional?
Yeah, just
Go ahead, Board Member Marston.
a personal board report. Yesterday, I had the pleasure of reading to students at Mrs. Mack's kindergarten class at Adams Elementary School, and I want to thank them for reminding me why we all do this.
And I'd like to mention the TIF committee appointment of Brian Marston. The TIF committee, that you were appointed to the TIF committee.
Oh.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
That's in conjunction with the St. Louis Development Corporation as a committee member. Any additional? Anything from the retirement or legislative? All right, we move to the last and final section, section 12. Don't all jump at once.
I move to adjourn to closed session pursuant to the revised statutes of Missouri, section 610.021.
Second.
Discussion? Call for a vote? And we
Dr.
move back to
Harvey?
closed session.
Yes.
Mr. Hikes?
Yes.
Ms. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Marston?
Yes.
Ms. Hubbard?
Yes.
Dr. Collins Adams?
Yes.
We are adjourned back to closed session at 7:34 p.m.